The term radical, derived from the Latin word for roots, refers to someone who advocates fundamental change in the political system. Literally, a radical is one who suggests resolving a social or political problem by delving deeply into the economic or social structure to identify and alter its fundamental weaknesses. This is a new, accessible, and engaging textbook co-authored by academics who also serve as consultants to organizations undergoing change. It offers a unique combination of rigorous theoretical inquiry together with practical insights drawn from working with those who are actually responsible for managing change. Before the structure of the Earth's mantle as a semi-solid material was established, there were various explanations for volcano behavior. For decades, the idea that compression and radioactive materials could be heat sources was dismissed, and volcanic activity was often attributed to chemical reactions and a thin layer of molten rock near the surface. While costs are rising, artist fees are not, and tickets to regular shows are harder to move than ever. Many fans aren't ready to return to the crowded mosh, others are dealing with the cost of living crisis. And with the exception of blockbuster shows, people who do buy tickets are tending to buy them last minute, creating a cash flow problem for artists. According to a peer-reviewed study, medical cannabis resulted in a statistically significant improvement in the quality of life, employment status, and the reduction of the number of medications in those with Tourette's syndrome, in addition to improving comorbidities. A new hybrid rice, which is a cross between an annual Asian rice and a perennial African rice, could be a more sustainable option. The hybrid rice was able to produce grain for 8 consecutive harvests over 4 years at a yield comparable to that of the standard annual Asian rice, with significantly lower costs and labor. Surveys to study market trends could be done by phone, online, or in person. Surveys to study market trends could be done by phone, online, or in person. I don't like sandwiches with cheese, tomatoes, and boiled eggs. I don't like sandwiches with cheese, tomatoes, and boiled eggs. Children can share their lunch around midday. Children can share their lunch around midday. Negative talk about gender still dominates conversations. Negative talk about gender still dominates conversations. Our ability to grow depends on how well we meet the country's needs. Our ability to grow depends on how well we meet the country's needs. You can borrow books from the special collection for up to 3 hours at this library. You can borrow books from the special collection for up to 3 hours at this library. The United States has developed a coffee culture recently. The United States has developed a coffee culture recently. You may pick only one subject between biology and chemistry. You may pick only one subject between biology and chemistry. Payment accepted through cash or credit card options are available here. Payment accepted through cash or credit card options are available here. Include a list of sources used in your assignment, called bibliography, for good referencing. Include a list of sources used in your assignment, called bibliography, for good referencing. Robert Frost believed that living in rural areas of New England was a good idea. Robert Frost believed that living in rural areas of New England was a good idea. Submit your geography homework before Friday noon. Submit your geography homework before Friday noon. Whether for better or worse, the influence of Sigmund Freud is deeply ingrained in our world today. If I were to ask you to name a famous psychologist, chances are that Freud would be the first name that comes to mind. He is widely regarded as the most famous psychologist ever, and his impact on the 20th and 21st centuries has been significant. Born in the 1850s, Freud spent most of his life in Vienna, Austria. However, he fled to London during the early days of World War II, as the Nazis began to occupy his homeland. Although he did not make any single discovery, he was renowned for his development of a comprehensive theory of the mind, which he refined over several decades. Throughout his life, Freud was a well-known figure, and his celebrity status extended beyond academia. Despite struggling with cocaine addiction, he was a man of exceptional energy and productivity. When asked to name a famous psychologist, the majority of people would undoubtedly mention Freud. He is widely considered to be the most prominent psychologist in history, and his influence can still be felt today. Born in the 1850s, Freud spent most of his life in Vienna, Austria, but he fled to London at the beginning of World War II to escape the Nazis' occupation. Although he did not make a groundbreaking discovery, he is known for his development of a comprehensive theory of the mind, which he honed over several decades. Throughout his life, Freud was a well-known public figure and celebrity, recognized on the streets. Despite his struggles with cocaine addiction, he remained a highly productive and energetic person. Serve and return interaction with adults is crucial for the development of strong brain architecture. This developmental game involves young children instinctively serving through babbling, facial expressions, and gestures, and adults returning the serve in a directed and meaningful way. This interaction begins in infancy when a baby coos, and adults respond by directing the baby's attention to a face or hand. This interaction forms the foundation of brain architecture, which supports all future development and helps create neural connections between different areas of the brain. It builds the emotional and cognitive skills that children need in life. For instance, serve and return interaction plays a critical role in developing literacy and language skills. When a baby sees an object, the adult says its name, which helps the baby's brain form connections between particular sounds and their corresponding objects. Later on, the adult shows the child that these objects and sounds can also be represented by marks on a page. With continued support from adults, children learn to decipher writing and eventually write themselves. This process builds upon what came before, and it all begins with ensuring that children have adult caregivers who engage consistently in serve and return interaction from infancy. This approach builds a strong foundation in the brain, which supports learning, behavior, and overall health throughout life. What is the capital of France? What is the capital of France? Paris. How many days are in a leap year? How many days are in a leap year? 366. What is the largest ocean on Earth? What is the largest ocean on Earth? Pacific Ocean. Who wrote the play Romeo and Juliet? Who wrote the play Romeo and Juliet? William Shakespeare. What gas do plants absorb from the atmosphere? What gas do plants absorb from the atmosphere? Carbon dioxide. What is the freezing point of water in Celsius? What is the freezing point of water in Celsius? 0 degrees.